Now, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Tuesday, the 22nd of July. We are approaching the end of the month next week, so it's been quite a good and quite interesting month so far. Actually, it's been very good to be honest. In terms of Bitcoin, we're very locally making some lower lows and some lower highs. We've kind of lost the node on the price, which is about 118k that we were talking about, and we have some heavy orders stacked in above us at 119.5k all the way up really to 120k now. Um, so yeah, a little local downtrend on the Bitcoin price, but nothing too crazy. In terms of liquidity, we have some very local stuff at about 119.8, and again all the way up at 122 as well, where some of my short orders still are sitting. But yeah, I'm not really. I mean, what's everyone thinking about the market? Are we? Oh, that wick just took out a decent amount of liquidity below us. Just to the downside at about 115.9, 116. We just had a naughty wick that just took all of that stuff out. Yeah, quite interesting to see. In terms of long to short ratio, just quickly, we're back up at 50-50, guys. So, this the trend since I think it was last Thursday, last Friday is continuing, and we are seeing a lot more longs come into the market. Just recently, we just came back over to 50-50 in the last for 8 hours. So definitely keep an eye on this for the next few days, especially if this were to stay at 50-50 or keep increasing in longs. It's definitely worth that we're going to have a pullback. And if we have a pullback, it's likely that even more longs are going to start to pile up. So we might even go like lower than a lot of other people think. But yeah, longs coming back in. Right, let me switch the old screen. Remember to do it on both as well. So yeah, on Bitcoin, we still locally we kind of look like we're potentially failing a couple levels. I tried to get short in between here, but it still did not work. We also have now a resistance zone forming at 120k, and yeah, we're just about holding the weekly open, but I don't really think this is going to hold too much now, and I am expecting. I mean, if we see the long to short ratio stabilize around 50-50 or even more longs in the market, I just think we're going to at least go and test 111 and possibly even a little bit lower. But especially the breakout from the from here is probably going to get tested. And we might even go a little bit lower into the daily combination band, around like, let's say 109 to 107 in that area as well. But yeah, so if we do get some wicks back up into 120, I might try and catch a little short, just only if the long and short ratio is still like similar to what it is at the moment. Bitcoin Dom, we're finally seeing the start of a little bounce. Yeah, it's to be expected. We've had a really good run. I think this is maybe gonna do sort of like something like this, and then one more, and then we'll either get a failure in between the Q2 and this resistance, well, support now turn resistance, or we might even come all the way back up to the highs here and get like a full rejection. But yeah, it's to be expected. Nothing too crazy. It's all looking fine as well. All looking fine and dandy. ETH Bitcoin also, after we've had that really good close, we're just going to see potentially a little bit of a pullback just from this area, and it'll be interesting to see if we can bullishly hold like 0.03, or if we come all the way back down and like retest March, for example, down in here between 2.6 and 2.65. But yeah, there's actually a lot to test below us on ETH Bitcoin. We got like, call it June. Then we got 2.6. We got 2.7, and we got in between. We got like, yeah, 3. Anyway, where we are now. But yeah, still good, still fine, and I think we could definitely go in and test like 2.6 around here, and it will still be like giga bullish. Giga bullish for alts. ETH, yeah, we done a really good move, and we were talking about this resistance yesterday, and it looks like it is going to be resistance now. I think on the 4 hour we haven't actually broken down yet. On the 1 hour we are very very locally just starting a little bit of a downtrend. It's possible that you could try and short this if we do come back up and reject the daily and the weekly. Yeah, hopefully this hourly band comes down as well, and then you can basically just put your stop like, I wouldn't put it more than 2%, to be honest. If you come and get taken at the highs, you get taken at the highs. It just is what it is. But yeah, nothing too crazy. We'll probably see a bounce from maybe 1.5, 3.55 to 3.6, and then we'll see if we get rejection again from the weekly open. But yeah, nothing too crazy. We're still in an uptrend as well, so again, maybe if you get like a 4 hour candle that closes below here, 3.55 into the combination band, you could potentially pull a fib and it will come in around the weekly open for a really nice short. That would be the more high probability play. Sol was running really nicely just recently on the I think like on the last few days, yeah, and over Monday this was actually running up to $200. Now we've hit this resistance quite nicely. We are still holding the daily open, which is nice, but yeah, I'm expecting this also to be quite heavy resistance, and yeah, it just looks like this could be an area for a pullback. Now we could really bullishly hold the yearly open, or we could come back down a little bit lower, 180. We've also got August, November. This whole area from May as well could come and get tested bullishly, and it would still look really good on the chart. Again, we've kind of been waiting for this like the last week. Potential pullbacks just to load up some more for the potential blow off top. Looking good, looking good. Popcat. So there actually could be a decent little long on Popcat. And it's just simply if you pull a fib from here to here. I'm actually going to just take that off for now. And say in between, I think it's 3.8 and 3.7. So about 3.82 and 3.7 could be a potential area to long Popcat, especially if it were to hold. We don't want to close really below 3.74. Realistically, a 4 hour candle below there would maybe start changing the trend a little bit, and it might start rolling over a little bit. But we're still in an uptrend, and we've just made a new high. So from the most recent low, if you want to try and catch a little bit of a long, as it is major overlapping support, then yeah, you could potentially try and do something from that. The combination band also comes in around 3.6, which is also around the June level as well. So you could get like a really nasty wick and then something like this, and then a test back up at the weekly, or around like 4.2, 4.3 on Popcat, which is would definitely net you some decent swings because, for example, from this high to June is about a 20% move. Well, a little bit more, and then from June to the week opens about 16%. So you're talking decent percentages if you can control your risk and get something nice. Definitely, definitely potential for you guys to even get in like the 15 minute and start scalping this out. So now that we've broken this low, you could potentially put a fib from there to there, and even like if you get a failure here, we're also coming in into some big support on the 15-minute as well, around the May level. This is likely going to get a bounce from here, this low at around 398, or yeah, 398, and then we've also got all this supply down to 392. This is likely going to be actually just at least a short-term bounce up to the weekly open. So you're looking at like maybe even like 6-ish% depending on where you can catch it quite low. And then yeah, you know, you're looking at 1.52% stop as well. So that's fine for risk, even if you're just taking it up to the weekly opener. So definitely some opportunity coming on PopCap. And yeah, it's definitely looking not too bad at all. Fartcoin, yeah, I think I took a little bit more profit around 1.6. This is still looking really good and definitely in an uptrend. I think this has got a little bit more room to run, maybe. But yeah, we are at this big resistance point on the daily. Have we actually closed above that? We actually closed the daily candle above this daily swing. So that's actually very interesting. We are in the overlapping resistance though, so you would just expect this to potentially be a pullback area. If we see a bigger pullback on the daily, maybe into like Q3, Q4, I will be again accumulating more, especially as this daily combination band is going to come in around here, and you know, if we see something like that, it's just going to be a massively bullish backtest, and then I think we will get the breakout and the big god candle next. If we do get that nice pullback, it's kind of looking like we want to have a little bit of a grindy down pullback session in the market. I don't mind how slow it is. Like we could happily grind down for the whole of August, and I would not be mad at all. Just patience is the name of the game at the moment, really, and we are kind of waiting for more clear breakdowns on some coins. But the one that I did talk about was Sui. Now we didn't quite get up to the 786. Regarded, I wasn't going to take this anyway, but it does look like this is starting to reject now. But yeah, even I did not. Even if I had orders set around the yearly open and the 886, they wouldn't have got hit. Nearly, very very close. We got up to 409 with the yearly open at about 411, but yeah, this looks like it definitely wants to reject because that's a bearish retest of that, and we're also failing the weekly open now. So yep, just looks like we're potentially rolling over a little bit in the market, which is to be expected. To be expected. The other one we did talk about was hype, which looks to be playing out, but we also didn't get up to the pocket as well. But it's not like I was going to take them anyway. But yeah, bearish retest, new low, potentially now wherever this low stops and comes back up, which might even be around this combination band. You could pull a fib from here to here and maybe start shorting at the weekly open or just the overlapping support up here. I think this low, this high now around 47.4, 47.5. If we gain that back, it's gonna be bull town again for this. But for now, between there and there is gonna be heavy resistance. But yeah, we're just farming out some structure. Nice. I just kind of expect this to maybe just do a little bit of that for a little bit. Kind of like there's not really that similar price action. Maybe down here, kind of like really around here. Sorry, actually, let me just. Yeah, kind of like around here, but maybe not as much to the downside. bearish retest, then bang, something like that, and then maybe, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, still looks fine as well. What else am I looking at? So we've gone through Popcat, Pepe. So yeah, we did hit a really good trade on Pepe. I'm actually going to delete this now, so I stop talking about it. But I am on the lookout for something else on this coin. This is definitely hitting resistance as well there. That also looks like a nice failure. Let's just take some of these off. Yeah, interesting. This could actually hold anywhere in between. This could actually hold 115-ish. Probably around there, 115. And it would still look pretty bullish. We've also got some hidden bull on the daily. Very, very high up on the oscillator, which is quite interesting. But yeah, this actually hasn't broken down yet. It's just starting to look a little bit toppy on the daily. If you just zoom in, yeah, a few wicks into the band, failure of the weekly in this Feb. Again, we are holding the 127-ish on Pepe right now, but I'm not actually in a position yet. I want to see like slightly bigger retraces in the market, so at least maybe like down into here, near the lows that we made at the start of July. Uh, I would be very comfortable to long because that looks like where all the daily combination bands are going to come in on a lot of these daily time frames. So let me just, like, for example, I'll just take this off. Like, you could even just draw a fib like around here. Yeah, just around the lows from like, 8th, 7th, around just around the start of July, the first week of July, before the big pump, is where I feel comfortable reloading on a lot of this stuff. Until then, um, I might just be chilling. If I do see a decent short setup, then yeah, I might take it. But yeah, yeah. Anyway, let me check the chat, see what's going on. No, nothing's going on. Everyone's just chilling. Seems like a bit of a quiet one today because everyone's a little bit not scared, but a little bit reluctant to short just after the massive up move, and we haven't really seen the biggest breakdown yet. But I will say that if we do get a close sort of below, sort of like 3,550 on ETH, like a 4 hour, and then it starts to ping up, I think the fib from there to there, which comes in around the weekly open December, I think that's going to be a very, very nice short. Especially considering that if you look at the daily time frame, we're in the resistance, guys. Like, we're in that Stuba resistance, and we've got mega resistance up above us until 4K. So if you're looking to try and get something maybe on quite low leverage, I mean that actually is looking pretty rough, even if you're on 2x. But yeah, it's probably worthwhile trying to at least get a tiny bit off it, especially if the long to short ratio flips more majority long. It might be time to start looking the other way. Because like on ETH, we could potentially come all the way back down to like 2.6, and it would still be pretty bullish. Like, it would still be like, okay, we could either make a lower high in between. If this, say this is the top, yeah, this what we just did like a couple days ago or yesterday, 3.86, and we go all the way down to test 2.6. We could either make a new high off that and go all the way up to like 441, or we could make a lower high and then that would, yeah. But there's a lot of potential things that we could do, and we could even just come all the way down here and it would still be pretty bullish until we do make a lower high. So yeah, it's looking fine though. Anyone got any alts they want me to potentially look at, or I'll just have a little flick through on the fire, really. For example, Doge. Yeah, it's still not really broken down just yet. Maybe very locally on the hourly, but not really not quite just yet. It looks like we're starting, but it's just a little bit too early. So, for example, if we do come all the way back down to here, maybe like 2.4, and then see a bounce up to the weekly open, there's a potential short there. Especially if we get a nice lower high from the high that we just did, and we reject from there. You could maybe take that all the way back down into 20 cents. That would not be a crazy shout. But yeah, you just want to wait for more defined setups, especially after a really, really big, nice up move like we just had. Because we could just come back down into like support here and then just do go again. For example, on Doge, come back down to support, go again. Wouldn't be out of the question. Again, Link, yeah, we talked about this being at resistance, and it looks like it's going to be nice heavy resistance. If this does do one more wick up to the yearly open, I think it'll be quite an easy short, especially if you get sort of like a close beneath there and then a bounce back up. Anywhere in between here, you could potentially short that. You're just waiting for a potential like break of structure or a new low, and then that bounce you could definitely short. I think that would be really nice to see. You get some like closes below the most recent low on a lot of alts. You get the short in between like here, and then you come all the way back down into support, like daily support back down here, where the daily combination band is, and it could even take like a couple weeks, but nice like slow movement, really like organic, just chilling, and then we just reload massively down here, and we get like the next, maybe even the final leg up, which will be the most violent. Do you think CRO will get back to the previous all-time high, which was November 21? I actually haven't looked at CRO in ages. I got a great story about CRO. CRO was like probably the third crypto that I ever bought. So I bought some Bitcoin, I bought some ETH, maybe in like 2019 when I was fucking broke. And I bought like ETH was at like fucking like I don't even know what ETH was at. I think it was at like 80 quid, and I bought like nearly half an ETH for like 40, 50 quid. And I was like, yo, this is sick. And I bought some CRO because I wanted the highest tier of the card, and it wasn't that much back in the day. It was like maybe like a couple grand of CRO to get the highest tier in like 2020. But I didn't know you had to like stake it for like a year, and I just held it in my wallet, and I thought it was like it was gonna do the thing for 6 months, and then yeah, they upped the threshold but massively towards the end of the bull market. So I could have got the highest tier of the CRO card for like 2 grand back at the start of like 2020 or something. But I fumbled that bag, unfortunately. So yeah, the all-time high is actually very, very, very close. This is actually market cap, so we don't want that. USD. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought that was the all-time high. I was thinking, wait, what? Super confused. Um, I definitely think this has potential to get back up towards 50 cents, but it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a decent amount of the cycle. I mean, didn't they have some really bullish news about CRO? About I think they're in the ETF or they're in the stockpile or some shit like that. That Trump signed into order, and it only pumped like 50-60%. So you'd kind of expect it to come all the way, maybe even up to like 16 cents. And I feel like if CRO were to come back up towards maybe even 40 cents, there would be a lot of sellers. But I think maybe in the future it definitely could. I definitely think at some point, just because of the name itself, and they're, I mean, they got loads of good partnerships and they got the name for it. They probably got one of the best interfaces besides Coinbase. So if crypto just grows at the rate it is, I don't see why not in 5-10 years it can go back up to its all-time high and maybe even break it. Especially if they don't have any controversy or any problems and stuff like that. I think it's a solid project. It's just a solid platform. I definitely think we could see it at some point in the future. Because if you think about it, we've got a lot of time to fill this out with price action. Let me just. We've just got so much time to fill this out with price action. It could just take a few years. Let's get an AVAX USD chart because now that we're talking about stuff like that, yeah, actually, this is not the greatest chart. Again, this is probably just looks like I think maybe this altcoin season is going to be a bit of a lackluster one. And there's obviously lots of reasons for this, maybe Solana, Pump Farm, shitcoin, stuff like that. But the main reason is probably just because, I mean, the thing that we've always been waiting for is institutional adoption and government adoption. And that means that all the focus is on Bitcoin, all the liquidity is in Bitcoin. So this time around, we're probably just having a little bit of a lackluster alt season. And there's just way too many coins, not enough liquidity. I mean, we're not really in the bull market conditions that we were last cycle or even the cycle before. But I feel like at some point we will have that one crazy alt season where things just go absolutely wild just before it goes super super mainstream. But everyone's just focused on the like legitimate ones at the moment, which is fine. We got time. The market's not going anywhere. Like, this market is 100% not going anywhere, and it's probably still going to take, I'd say, anywhere between 8, 8 and 10 years to actually fully mature, at least, minimum. But yeah, I think if anyone's not looking at anything in particular, I might quickly talk about Popcat again, or we could just have a look at some of these other. Yeah, RV looks like it's starting to break down. Render's actually gained something nice back, but I don't know if it's going to hold, to be honest. We do have some nice support on Render around $4. This could be very interesting. It's potentially long. Especially as that combination man comes in around the low. Even just for a bounce play. And we might even make a lower high and go make a new low. But for a retrace, down to like the daily one. But there is definitely a few options that are coming our way. So potentially a scalp long up to the highs. And then if you close 4-hour candles beneath what we did on Friday, Saturday, you could pull a fib from the recent high that we just made to the low that, if I'm saying if we do make it, and then short the band, short the pocket, which is probably going to come in around a combination man if we do that, something like that, or you long the recent lows from Friday around the 4-hour combination band if there's support as well, and we even make a new high. It might, who knows. But that's kind of the two options going on right now on all the alts. And yeah, just keep in mind that Bitcoin long to short ratio, we are back at 50-50, so keep an eye on that. And we've done crazy moves. Even like we did a crazy move on ETH, guys. This is nuts. We're literally in resistance, heavy resistance. We need to put in a macro, you know, really a macro high or low for around like 2.5, 2.6, to be honest. That's what I'm thinking. Hi Jack, can you check out Cyber? Yeah, sure, bro. Cyber. Cyber, yes. USD. Cyber, no, not that one. Let's just get the Nance chart. Oh. Am I back? Am I back? Cyber. What did you put in the chat? Cyber USDT.p. I'm back. Okay, cool. USDT.p. Okay, nice. I lost my internet for a second there. Still lagging a little bit. Cyber. So this is relatively new. Oh no, it's not. Oh, that's a pretty rough looking. It's a pretty rough looking weekly chart. It's definitely showing signs of uh, life. So we did a nice gain of that, and we've come up and tested this swing here on the weekly. That's nice. Definitely showing some signs of life. On the daily, yeah, we've got this nice swing here, which actually comes in really nicely around the March level. So I'll just put that on there. But I don't really need to do it because it's this high here. There was also this high here, resistance, resistance, broken through. I'd say if this holds here, it's going to be a really nice bullish hold and go up and see Feb. Or the other option is that you do a full retrace. And you go hold in between May and Q3. But yeah, the next stop seems like it's going to be in there. It's either going to do that, or it's going to go all the way back down there, and then maybe potentially take a little bit longer. And then yeah, just like with all alts, like I think if we get up to sort of these sort of levels, there's going to be a lot of sell pressure from people that are underwater on bags because you know after the Trump pump and the election and stuff like that, myself included, I did accumulate a decent amount of altcoins around December, I would say. Some in October, November as well. And then yeah, we just had the January, February, March, April kind of like dumpiness. But it doesn't look too bad. It's definitely showing some signs of life. What else was showing signs of life? Mm, yeah, so a lot of these coins, even for example like Bohm, I've just pulled a fib from here to here. Actually, I'll probably just do it. So recent low, recent high, June level, some support. I've got a few 3x cross bids around here, and the same goes for like things like Chill Guy. Again, I probably need to just rejig the orders a little bit, but that's coming in around there. Few orders around here. Obviously, stop below here. Bang. If we get the breakdown, I'm going to be bidding some of these areas on some of these alts. Nothing too complicated, eh? Per, oh yeah, per. So we're struggling a tiny bit on this per. Also, looks like the market is going to roll over a little bit, but I am still in this position. The reason why I want to be in this position is because um, we're just bull diving massively, and we are in like really, really heavy support. So it's getting a little bit hairy, tiny bit, but we haven't broken this low yet. So I'm still in this position. I'm hoping that it's going to start sort of going the other way, but yeah, on per. Let's actually just get the per 2 chart up. Again, yeah, we're getting very dangerously close. That was also a really bad retest of the weekly open just there. I really thought when we did this little spike we were going to hold the weekly open. It's starting to look a little bit more hairy, and the market is starting to look like it wants to roll over. So, yeah, I might tighten my stop a little bit more, or maybe even get out on this 4-hour candle. We are bull diving though. We are still bull diving massively on this chart, and we also have a lot of support coming in around, like 7, 9, 7, 8, literally just where we are basically. But yeah, that doesn't mean we can't drop to some of these lower levels, because for sure we can. Oh shit, I didn't even know this chart went back this far. Lol. Yeah, we could definitely go down a little bit lower, to be honest. But yeah, I think we might just be coming into a little bit of a grindy pullback area, a grindy down pullback area, while longs potentially, sorry, shorts kind of die out a little bit and take the reins. Longs come back into the market, we start burning all of those guys. You know, the people that are going to start longing now are the people that missed the whole move. And that were shorting all the way up. They never learn. Another thing that I'm actually interested in potentially accumulating a little bit more, especially if we see but I'm just waiting for Bitcoin Dom to do a proper like bearish retest, is potentially Trio. I might buy a little bit more, by around 50 cents, which is really, really low. It's very low for this. Ooh, my Wi-Fi is struggling. What's going on with my Wi-Fi?